Hello, this is Arina, Teach the Teacher Week 2. And for this week, I chose the topic dollar cost averaging because I found it really helpful for somebody who would like to stay on the trading market over years or even decades. It really reduces the emotional pressure, it reduces, say, risk of being burnt out, of constant risk you're taking with the money you worked for. And it just makes investing more structured and organized. I would like to start from with a quote which from Charles Schwab. What he said is time in the market is more important than time in the market, and by saying so, he really highlighted the problem that many investors face is trying to guess the perfect time to enter the market because of course everybody want to maximize their effort, but it unfortunately often leads to just postponing a start when the person would start to invest, and or it leads to making emotional purchases at bad timings, at peaks. uh, and why it happens is because trading most of the times is pretty controversial, and you really shouldn't trust your guts about that, and also predicting the market is some kind of undoable task because it's very difficult, and if it wouldn't be, everybody would just do that and there would be no risk in trading and everybody would have no losses. It would be too easy. um, Dollar cost averaging as a solution. So this strategy offers to an investor to decide what amount of money he or she would invest in a certain period of times. For example, it could be 500 euros every month. And behind this strategy lies pretty simple mathematical principle. If the market is up at the time when you buy stock, you would buy less amount of stocks with your 500, and if the market is down, you would buy more for the same 500 euros. And as a result, you would have some kind of average price, which yeah, and you would have it despite of volatility of the market. It's powerful. Here's an example that I asked DeepSeek to illustrate with the table. I just made up that Dylan and Rachel want to invest 12,000 over the year, and Dylan is the one who would do it monthly, and Rachel would do it at once. As a result, we can see that Dylan would have amount, more shares bought with the same amount of money spent, comparing to Rachel. And we can see that it's a value in difference in capital of both of them. So now let's talk a bit how exactly this reduces the risk. It's really connected. So first is risk of making emotional decisions. As I said, it's most of times it's counterintuitive, and it's better just to try not to be emotional, which is very hard. And another risk is avoids really bad timing and buying at peak. Why? So yeah, why both of these matters? I will explain. So when we are trading, there is this kind of complicated percentage that adds up uh, every time from what you had previously. So there's some kind of regression in how fast your capital would grow. So it's very nice to start early, which is about emotional, yeah, humble. um, it's good to start early because when you, okay, let's say you want to stop investing and trading at 50, if you start 3 years earlier, you would have this percentage. It would be the way more comparing to if you wouldn't. And the bad timing is still about that. Even if one time you make a big mistake, it would affect what you have in the end significantly, even if you do everything correct. But if you buy at bad price or lose, let's say, 30% of your capital, it's a real struggle, and it will affect how much when you will have when you want to be retired. Um, so dollar cost averaging strategy offers to focus on what can be controlled. For example, time horizon investors, saving rate, and discipline, and to kind of let it go what can't be controlled, such as economical cycles, inflation, and daily market prices. That was it. Thank you for your attention, and let's go to next week.